Okay, we're going to talk about ratification. What ratification means is formal approval process. So when they finish the Constitution, they spent that whole summer from May to September dealing with all the different compromises that they came up with. They signed it on September 17th, 1787. And just like everything else, just like the Declaration of Independence, just like everything else this new government wanted, they wanted to make sure that the people were involved with this, that it just was not this small individual group of people taking over a government, because that's literally what they did. This was in and of itself a revolution. They were under the Articles of Confederation. You have 55 men decided they don't like the government that they have, so they go in and they create a brand new government. So copies are sent to the states to be ratified or formally approved. There are 7 articles, and we're going to start looking at the Constitution, and this is the final article, and an article is just a section, a major section. And so the very last thing they talk about in the Constitution is how this document is going to go into effect. We're going to send it to the states, and remember, under the Articles, you had to have 13 of the 13 states to get anything, or in terms of changing the document. What this does is different, and it says 9 of the 13 must ratify in order for the Constitution to go in effect. So it did not need all of them, it only needed 9 of them. So you have 2 sides. Obviously, you're going to have those who are in favor of the Constitution and those who are against it. The Federalists were in favor of it. They are the ones that want a strong central government, and they really thought that this was a choice between the Constitution and anarchy. The Articles are not working. We can't go back there, so you either basically go with this Constitution or we will have no government. Those who favored the Constitution: James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, George Washington. And then you had the other side, the anti-federalist. They opposed the adoption of the Constitution. Their fear was that it put too much power in the hands of the central government, took powers away from the states and the people. Remember, we just won the Revolutionary War. We just fought a strong government. And the Articles of Confederation go to the complete opposite of that, to where we have no, basically, central government that has any powers. And so the anti-federalists have this fear that if we start going back in the other direction, we're going to end up back in a monarch. And if you remember from the video over the Articles of Confederation, the president of Congress at that particular time was actually looking to try and get a monarch to step in. One of their major concerns was that it did not contain a Bill of Rights. The Federalists agreed over some debate, and we'll talk about that later. But the Federalists did agree that they would, if this document, if the Constitution was ratified, the first thing that they would do was add a Bill of Rights. They did not want to open this document up again. They did not want to, because they knew once they opened it up for debate again, that everyone would start to want to put different changes on it. So they said, let's take it as it is, and then let's go ahead and add some amendments to it. The other thing that I didn't put down here, but I definitely want you to get into your notes, is the fact that the other main concern was over-representation. Representation is critical, and we talked about it under the Articles. That equal representation, that was the biggest argument during the Constitutional Convention, the Virginia Plan versus the New Jersey Plan. And then once again, their concern is that if we go with this idea, they wanted more representatives per person. You know, the proposals were good, but they said that's not enough. We want more representation for the states. And so those who were anti-federalists, Patrick Henry, Samuel Adams, Richard Henry Lee was against it, and John Hancock was against it. But once again, remember that it was okay at this point to disagree with this new document. These gentlemen were all there when the Declaration of Independence, or most of them played a vital role in the writing of the Declaration of Independence. So they were there and they fought for independence, but now their concern is over this new document taking away powers from the people, which is where they wanted it to stay.